Hello, everyone. Like the new setup? Welcome. Hope you're enjoying your weekends. vinyljunkies.store. VJ Live. Vinyl Radio.
Is that my echo? Give me the straighter one. Can you turn the lights down some? Good God! Yesterday, you not to your phone. Main track, knowing that your problem wasn't alone. Turn the voice down a little. Wanna call you every day, beg you to be near me. I know your head is underwater. I thought that you could hear me. Rain come down, the rain come down, let the rain come down, down. Let the rain come down, the rain come down, let the rain come down, down. Hey. Been gone 17 days, 17 long nights. Main drag, knowing that you're holding someone else tight. I wanna call you every day, beg you to be near me. I know your head is underwater, I thought that you could hear me. Let the rain come down, rain come down, the rain come down, down. Hey, rain. Oh, baby, now. All my 17 days.
We will have an unboxing.
Been gone 17 days, 17 long nights. Oh, it's a drag, baby, I know. Hold another nigga tight. I wanna call you every day, beg you to be near me. I know it's underwater, thought that you could hear me. let the rain come down. Come on down, let the rain come down, down. Oh, 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 come on down, yeah. Come on down, yeah, baby, no. Yeah, ooh, yeah, ooh, come on down, yeah,
Prince is gonna bring it down, okay? How are you, folks? How are you? How are you? Friday. It is weekend for some of us. Some of us work on the week. Some of us work on the weekend, like Mike Reno of Loverboy. You want a piece of his heart? You better start from the start, Mr. Bucko. How are you guys? Prince is still going. I see. All right, Prince. So I'm going to leave a little bit of Prince in the background. We heard the first track off the first album to be released by the Prince family estate after he passed away posthumously. Actually, the first album that was really released by the Prince estate before he died was a reissue of Purple Rain. But in terms of material that wasn't seen before or heard before, it was indeed this that you're listening to, or that you did listen to. I think it's still in the little bit in the background, right? I should really stop trying to do a bunch of things. I think I haven't figured out also... oh, wait a second. I am online. Look at this! Look at this. I think Facebook shuts me down immediately in terms of the music. So I gotta tell you, if you guys are watching on Facebook, you might want to watch on YouTube. That's really seems to be the place. The copyright stuff is a real pain in the ass. But we're gonna see a live unboxing because this just arrived. My daughter brought it down, and we're going to play a whole lot of more fun stuff, okay? How about, should we go to the unboxing first? Let's go to the unboxing. I should say, though, that I have some garage rock, some Danger Mouse type stuff lined up for you. Michael Kiwanuka, dude. Michael Kiwanuka. If you haven't heard Michael Kiwanuka, it is freaking brilliant. I will absolutely play some for you, and something back to back to make you hear, you know, what I'm hearing. And I'm going to do the same thing with some Lonnie Liston Smith for those of you who like the funkier side of spiritual jazz. So here's the live unboxing. What could I possibly buy? What it is that I've done recently. Sorry for all the crimpling and live unboxing makes noise, but yeah. Since we've opened our doors and started offering the community records, I've been working my ass off to make sure that the prices are good, that everything is well packed, and that you guys are getting value. Everything in the store is either a pre-order or something I'm ordering myself, or something that I already have. So, for all of you who think that I don't buy records, you're out of your mind. You never stop buying records, no matter what promo you get. So this is what it is that I bought. There were a couple of boxes in that I'm going to play for you. Some of that stuff is in the store. And what I picked up today, what arrived today, is a King Gizzard record. Should I play some King Gizzard? Yes, I should. I wanted to put one up in the store, vinyljunkies.store, for pre-order. They're gone right now, so I'll do that as quickly as I can. This Charles Bradley arrived, so that's the other one. And then I finally bought Jar of Flies because it's one of my favorite Alice in Chains records. So that's what's on tap for now. I have to remove the shrink wrap and see what they are. I don't know if I'm going to be putting them in the store because I have to QC test them first. I want to make sure that they sound good before offering them up. That's the entire point. I can't guarantee that the records are going to sound good or look good. Yours won't be mine. On the other hand, it's, you You know, some labels don't do it well. Some labels care a little bit more. It's good to know which batch you're getting them from so that you can buy with a bit of confidence. I don't know if you guys are the same as me, but I've stopped buying certain labels because the product is spotty. So I make sure that I do all of that before we put them up in the store. vinyljunkies.store. We added a bunch of stuff right now, so go check it out, see what you think. I'm going to play something from a garage band's earliest days, the Chesterfield Kings. Right now, little Steven at the Underground Garage would be very, very proud of me. How about that? We're going to listen to these guys right here. New York people, Chesterfield Kings. Hope you're having a good one. And now we know who the Chesterfield Kings are. I mean, I'm not assuming that you guys don't know who the Chesterfield Kings are, but I mean, you know, underground type of garage band. I should know where they're from in New York, but I don't, because I don't memorize things. I just access that part of my brain that puts different musical ideas together, and we go from one genre to another, and you know, I like it all, but chances are there's always something that's going to piss someone off and they won't like it. Well, what can I say? I'm taking the shrink wrap off all of my records, and what I thought, one of them is this Charles Bradley. Actually, you know what? What I was thinking is I'm going to play changes on this. Believe it or not, I have never heard a single song off this Charles Bradley record yet. Okay, so I'm going to play changes off of it, but what I'll do also is, because the Daptone stuff is the stuff that I tend to think is hit and miss, I'm going to VJQC score it live so that you guys can kind of see my process and see why I score what I score as I score it. So you'll kind of get a little bit of a background as to why these records get, you know, what's the difference between a 93 and a 98 or sub 90. I'll go through all of that. Until then, you'll notice that we added some records. This is one of them that we added, okay, this Lonnie Liston Smith. It's the first time it's been reissued since the 70s. There are only 1,000 copies of this. It's fantastic. Produced by Bob Thiel. Okay, this was originally pressed on the Flying Dutchman label that also pressed stuff like Gil Scott-Heron. So if you have a copy of The Revolution, will not be televised, for example. Or you'll notice that it's a Flying Dutchman. Flying Dutchman was Bob Thiel, producer Bob Thiel's personal record label. So Lonnie Liston Smith was an example of that, and I like to call these albums of his career. By the way, there's two Lonnie Smiths. Okay, this is not Dr. Lonnie Smith. This is Lonnie Liston Smith. Different thing. Tends to be more jazz funk. You'll notice this is 73, 74. The two records that Real Gone Music put out was 73, 74. These reissues are both available at vinyljunkies.store. But you'll notice I'll play one track and then I'll play something else back to back. Tell me if you hear a difference, okay? But I talk a lot about spiritual jazz and just the enormous impact that John Coltrane had on music. And the people that carried his music forward the most are really people like Pharoah Sanders and Alice Coltrane. You repeat the same names over again because it's really those two names that stand out the most. You know, you got the Don Cherries and you got the Archie Sheps that went in that direction also, Cannonball Adderley, but really spiritual jazz, the torch was always carried on by impulse. So what we're going to hear here is a little bit more of the soulful side of the spiritual jazz. Okay, so tell me who this sounds like, and I'm going to play you a track that you should recognize if you have a little bit of jazz flavor in you, and if not, I'm going to introduce you to a really freaking song. Freaking good song. Listen to me babbling away. I'm going to play you the greatest hit ever of jazz on the charts. I might be wrong, but once upon a time that was the case. For now, why don't we listen to it's Meditation? No, this song is called Rejuvenation. So we're listening to Lonnie Liston Smith here. The album is called Astral Traveling, and it's available at vinyljunkies.store in translucent, beautiful vinyl. There's only 1,000 copies, and it's fantastic. Check it out for yourself, friends. playing something that I think sounds familiar to this right after. So let me know in the comments. Does this sound like anything that you've heard before? Only one guess? Does this sound like anything to you? You're listening to Lonnie Liston Smith. His 73 or 74 record, Astral Traveling, originally out on Bob Thiel's Flying Dutchman label. Some soulful, spiritual jazz for your ear holes this Friday. How are you? How was your morning commute, friends? So I said that this sounds like something else. I see only one guess, which is, hi, Jeff Duval. I'm doing well, my vinyl brother. Hope you're well. Hi to all of you. Master Felrod. Can I play some Bob Dylan? I probably won't play Bob Dylan because I haven't gotten into him yet, believe it or not. We can have a conversation about it. That's the entire point of this. But John Hatch was the only guess, and then Samuel Twining just basically echoed that it sounds a little bit like My Favorite Things. You noticed that I cued the album before anything. Were these gentlemen right? I don't dare interrupt Mr. John Coltrane. I listen to my favorite things right down to the last little cymbal. We can't call it a crash, but Mr. Elvin Jones touches a cymbal, you listen, and you listen carefully. As far as it's possible to get any hits in jazz, that's John Coltrane's biggest single. They sold it as a single. I actually have the John Coltrane Atlantic Years mono box set, and the single comes with it. Why? Because original mono tapes of My Favorite Things don't exist anymore. You can't get them. So they had only the single, and that's why My Favorite Things in mono is the record I want most in life. But I did play you a really good version. This is Org Music's 45 RPM 2LP version, audiophile type deal. And I mean, you heard for yourself what it sounds like, right? The song was good and long, which allowed me to do something which I haven't done yet, and gives me a chance to introduce the VJQC score to you a little bit more. If you guys go to the store, I can see who visits. If you guys visit vinyljunkies.store, you'll notice that all of the products, not all of the products, but a lot of the products have a VJQC score next to them, right? What the hell does that thing mean? Okay, look, I think I've told the story before, but the short version is I just got completely fed up of coming home and getting records that I wasn't satisfied with in terms of the product itself. Okay, for a variety of reasons, warping, off-center, marked up, there's a bunch of things. It happens all too often. So last year I went to Making Vinyl and presented this, tried to get a conversation going, didn't get very far with it. So I decided to develop my own scoring system based out of 100 and use that scoring system to at least score my records, so that if we can make some kind of comparison from what I get from my batch versus what it is that you get, at least we're kind of like they were pressed on the same pressing plant and treated the same way type of thing. So wanted to see what I came up with. And just to check, there are how many categories? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I base on 8 categories. And I'll do this Charles Bradley, which just came in. You saw the unboxing earlier. So this Charles Bradley changes. I bought these records because I wanted to buy them and test them first before I put them in the store. I want to give you guys the best records possible, because I know what it's like, man. Records cost a lot of money, so you don't want to spend money for nothing and come home disappointed. So I just VJQC scored the record right in front of you, and I'll tell you what I came up with, okay? Right after that, we're going to listen to Changes by Charles Bradley. So Surface was the first thing I test, if you saw me looking under the light. Natural sunlight is obviously the best. I scored it an 8 for 2 reasons. I took off a point because there were some very tiny little dimples, which likely won't affect the sound, but the surface wasn't perfect. There was a little bit of dimple on it, so a point got taken off there, and a point got taken off because there's surface scratches. Just little surface scuffs. Why? Paper sleeves. We'll get to that later. Second thing I checked was warping. Now, I know you guys saw the record go like that. The reason that wasn't because that was the warp. It's because the center hole was too tight. Score was deducted there as well. But in terms of warping, it's actually not bad at all. It's a 9 warp. Okay. Then I check centering. Same thing. If you go eye level and you check it out, it's got to be dead center to get a 10. If it's even just slightly, it's a 9. 8, you can kind of see it from where you're sitting to your listening level. This was a 9. Not bad. Okay. Finish. Is there any center flash? Are the edges all sharp? That's basically the type of thing that I'm looking for. The center labels, are they stamped properly? I had to take points here off as well because the center label is stamped a little bit off center, and there's a little bit of center flash in the middle. So that's why you saw the record warping, because it didn't just slide on the spindle by itself. I'm going to have to clean that out myself with a deburring tool. So I gave it an 8 there. I took 2 points off. Varia. Varia is the easiest place to get 10 points, man. It's the easiest. Okay. In terms, basically, you know what it is that I test? The record that you got. Did it come in a paper sleeve or not? Okay. This one came in a paper sleeve. Why does that make such a big deal? Well, you remember what I told you about the surface scuffs? How do you think that happened? It happened because it came in a paper sleeve. So I take a point off immediately for that. Believe it or not, I mean, you just get an anti-static sleeve, immediately it's a 10. Okay. Then I test for value. Value, it automatically goes down to 10, goes down to 9 for me as well. I got to go out and buy a sleeve and put the record in it properly. So I got to go out of the way to do something that I feel that the record label should be doing themselves. Okay. So value drops immediately there for me, 8. If you take out all the little things, for me, the dimpling doesn't affect the sound, but I'm bothered by that. Okay, sound, I haven't heard the record yet, but let's assume we give it a 10, just to show you what the score winds up at the end, okay? I test 10 for cleanliness as well. There's little flecks of paper that were on the surface. Nothing great, you know, not like sometimes there's even liquid on it, but in this case, there was just some flecks of paper, so I gave it a 9. Why flecks of paper? Once again, because this is what they're put in. So you see where points get taken off. And finally, I check experience. Okay, so my overall vinyl experience, after going through all of that, how do I feel about it? Look, generally speaking, I'm completely bummed out when a record's warped and off-center. Those are the big ones for me. When the record's, right after that, there's surface. Makes me crazy when it is that I see the little bumps. That makes me completely fucking insane. Okay, and those are the records I try to keep away from the most. There were one little tiny one specifically, but it's there, okay, which I took out points for. In terms of my experience, I would say if this record sounds good, you know what, 16, 17, it brings us to a final score of either 87 or 88, which falls below the 90% that I try to keep as a threshold for the records that we stock at vinyljunkies.store. So to answer your question, I bought the record. Okay. Even if we assume that it's a 10 score, it scores an 87 or 88, which means that I would not put the record in the store. Is it fair? Is it unfair? I don't know. But that's what I score on. So when you guys see high scores on a record, it's usually because it's really good. Scores over 90, most of the time it's cosmetic, you know. At the worst case scenarios, you'll see 8 warps, 8 off centers, but over 90 is safe. So, look, this might be safe for a lot of you also, but I use the same system for everything. This one scored what it did. Now, I'm going to listen to it for the very first time. I've never listened to this Charles Bradley record. I'm happy I bought it anyway. I hope everything sounds good, and I'm sure that it will. I've got Daptone records, man. They make good records, but I've never listened to Changes, so we're going to listen to it together, and I hope I dig it, man. I don't know what to play next. What do I play next? Maybe some King Gizzard? I don't know, man. Let's see. So, Changes. First time for me, probably not for you guys. Hope you guys are enjoying your weekend.
I try, I try to be a righteous man. I try to give love all over the world, but I'm tired of being used. It's my turn to love and be loved. It's my turn to get out the world and let my spirit free. I try to be a righteous man. Talk to the Lord most every day. Sometimes this world can do me wrong. I keep to the path, won't go astray. When I start falling over,
Not lying. I'm digging this. But this isn't Changes. It's because I didn't read the label properly. So now I'm gonna queue up changes. How's that? Or why don't we listen to this and then we'll play changes right after? 2 Charles Bradley songs isn't a bad idea. Happy mistakes. Happy mistakes, like Bob Ross says.
I try to find the strength inside to keep my soul from running wild. My emotions got the best of me. I kick and scream just like a child. I start falling over, my feeling catch a flame. I be a man, stay a man, but you won't be the same if you ain't gonna do me right. I might just do you in. Ain't it a sin? Ain't it a sin? Ain't it a sin? I'm falling over, my feeling catch a flame. I be a man, stay a man, but you won't be the same if you ain't gonna do me right. I might just do you in. Ain't it a sin? Ain't it a sin? Ain't it a sin? So don't do me wrong, and I won't do you wrong. We gonna do it right. Ain't it a sin? Come on, come on.
I'll get the changes next. I'll queue it up right after this, okay? This one's good, though. You should listen to this. You'll know it. Some of you will, at least.
Well, you get in that kitchen, make some noise with the pots and pans. Well, you wear old dresses, the sun comes shining through. Well, you wear old dresses, the sun comes shining through. I can't believe my eyes, all of this belongs to you. I believe to the soul you devil in my house. I believe till the soul you a devil and I know. Well, all I work, the faster my money goes. I said shake, rattle and roll. Shake, rattle and roll. Shake, rattle and roll. Shake, rattle and roll. Well, you won't do right to save your doggone soul. Yeah, blood. I'm like a one-eyed cat peeping in the seafood store. I'm like a one-eyed cat peeping in the seafood store. But I can look at you till you ain't no child no more. I shake, rattle and roll. Shake, rattle and roll. Shake, rattle and roll. Shake, rattle and roll.
I'd never heard it before. How's your morning commute? How are you guys? You know, I think I like this idea of VJQC testing things on air. I'm going to do another one, as a matter of fact. Everything that I buy is really with the idea, new at least. I mean, old is old, you know, it's like I always buy used records. But in terms of new, if I buy it, it's because I find it interesting enough to want the stock, and I got to test it before I make it. So the question will be this King Gizzard record right here. Polygondwanaland. I know it's not the last one, but I ordered this one. It's got the funky cover. As far as I know, it's a different cover. It is the Fuzz Club independent store version. So I QC tested it while Changes was playing, and why don't we go over what I scored for it? Okay, or what I'll do maybe is I'll tell you how I scored this one as well. Is this interesting to you? I mean, this is basically how it is that I judge my own collection and which ones make good records and who doesn't make good records, who I buy and who I don't. Because the fact is that there'll always be more records than I have money. So I want to make sure that if I'm buying records and they're expensive, I want to make sure I'm buying property. So I score everything. It's the same score, same system for everything. So how did King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard do? What's the name of this damn record? I can't pronounce it. Polygondwanaland. Surface. By the way, it's clear vinyl, just completely clear. Surface, it got a 10. Perfect. No marks, no nothing. Should be said, though, that translucent records, you can hide the marks a whole lot more. So when you have a black slab, you can see the markings on it a little bit more. But, you know, hey, I checked. No marks, so I got a 10. Warp, 9. That's me being that's me being picky. That's like, for me, dead flat is dead flat. And it's got to be said that I don't see it often. So 9, it's good. It's good, but it's a 9 out of 10 I gave it. Centering is 8 out of 10. Why? Because what's the difference between this centering and the last record centering? I gave Charles Bradley a 9 because I had to really get close to Charles Bradley to see that there was a shimmy. Okay. In this particular case, I know that, as I kind of like moved away more, I can see the arm shimmying visibly. Not a lot, but I see it. Usually that kind of thing is mostly cosmetic. It won't make any difference to the sound. It got an 8 anyway. Okay. Vinyl finish. No center flash. Everything's beautiful. Well plus platter. 10. Value. 9. Everything I've told you about the record is amazing, right? Why did it get that? Because, well, this is what it came in, and it's not one of those poly-lined things. So that means I got to throw this out now and buy one. So that's 9. I got to do that. Varia is a 9. Value is a 9. That's the reason both of those points are taken out. Sound. Let's assume it's a 10. I have to listen to the record properly before giving it a score. And cleanliness was 10. There was nothing on it. So assuming that the sound is 10, I gave experience an 18. Okay, so let's assume that the 10 is sound. I'm going to check everything out properly. I mean, it's a clean slab. It really is. Okay, it's off-center type of thing. I could have given it a 17. I guess a 17 maybe, let's say. Even if I give it a 17 and not an 18, we're looking at a score of 92% for this King Gizzard record. So what that means is, ding ding. If I can find these in the back, if I can find these, I'll put them up. You know why it got a 92%. And I'm going to play you the first track on it. I don't know this record. I'm familiar with the band. I'm looking for the metal record. I'm trying to put the metal record into the pre-order queue. As soon as I'm able to get it, I promise I'll give it to you guys. But this one should be available soon. It just scored a 92%. And right after that, I'm going to play some 9 Inch Nails, and I'll tell you why 9 Inch Nails and Trent Reznor really care about vinyl and really get it right. You'll check this one out, okay? So join me in listening to my first spin of the opening track of this particular King Gizzard record, Polygondwanaland. Polygondwanaland. Okay, now I got it. Polygon Wonderland, we learn here. This is a learning center. Still going.
I see through the bricks to the sea, crumbling castle, inching closer each century, crumbling castle. Waters rising up, big and green, crumbling castle. Are we safe in our citadel?
That's my ideas of freaking awesome. Yeah, that's my first spin, man. I'm not going to listen to any more of it. Or actually, why don't we put this in the background? See if it winds up being distraction. What you're hearing in the background is some more King Gizzard and the Wizard. So, as mentioned, it scored, what was it, a 92 or 93, which is why you're seeing it up in the store. I thought it'd be interesting to tell you the ones that did make it in the store and which ones didn't. If you see 9 Inch Nails, 9 Inch Nails made it into the store because they know how to do vinyl. Right? There's a copy of Tiny Music, Stone Temple Pilots music on vinyl. Got a, how much the hell did it get? It got a 94, yeah. Pink Floyd Animals, because I was curious about the new ones, the reissues there. The Bernie Grubman, the reissues sounded great. 94, loved it. Great Adventures of Slick Rick, disappointed. You know, it's funny. Before I even open hip hop vinyl, I know I'm gonna have a problem with it. It's fuck. I wish it wasn't true, but Dimples, you know, it scored an 87, so I didn't put that in the store. I wanted to, I bought it, but I wouldn't sell it to you. I wouldn't. It's Smoke Ring for My Halo, Kurt Weill, 93, fucking awesome. And then there's what I'm going to play for you right now, which is Michael Kiwanuka. What I wanted to do is actually score this live to see if I scored and played this yesterday. It's, you know, just only recently came across it on my radar, and I played it once and got goosebumps. Like yesterday night, I played it just one time and I got goosebumps. So I knew I absolutely, at all costs, wanted the record because I want you guys to have it. Then, as it happens, Michael Kiwanuka has a new record coming out in October. The pre-orders are up, so we're going to put those up in the store because I'm all in. If it sounds as good as what we're going to hear now, Love and Hate, everybody's got a different idea of what they like. To me, I love this. So, I've played after 2 times at least, but you know, I've read the reviews. Like I said, it's not like the record didn't come without its hype, but it scored a 93. And I realized that I can't recreate that because, let's say, in terms of cleanliness, by this point I've cleaned the record, I've done everything that needs to be done, I've replaced the sleeves. Can't rescore it. I have to score it as it comes out. So when I'm scoring a record, it's really my first experience with that record, and I do take the time to listen to the whole thing through. Okay. So I'm gonna play a couple of tracks off this Michael Kiwanuka because, for no other reason that it's one of those records that I listened to for the very first time yesterday. It gave me goosebumps, and I want to listen to it again, and I want to introduce it to you guys. Yeah, you know, listen, I'm not trying to be cool, man. You can't know everything. Okay, so I don't keep up. It's just you listen to music, and music just comes to you. The records come to you when they do. So I want to share Michael Kiwanuka with you. Double LP, 180 grams, beautiful gatefold. I don't, because the songs aren't split up by sides, I can't tell you what the name of the song is, but it's the last song on side 2, which I recall really enjoying. So I liked all of it, but I'll try to remember what made me like this so much. And then I'm gonna get into why Nine Inch Nails really know how to do vinyl. So here's Michael Kiwanuka, Love and Hate. Look for it in the store, vinyljunkies.store, as well as the pre-order.
Standing up, calling all the people here to see the show, calling for my demons not to let me go. I need something, give me something wonderful. I believe she won't take me somewhere I'm not supposed to be. You can't steal the things that God has given me. No more pain and no more shame and misery. You can't take me down. You can't break me down. You can't take me down. You can't take me down. You can't break me down. You can't take me down. Love and hate, how much more are we supposed to tolerate? Can't you see there's more to me than my mistake? Sometimes I get this feeling makes me hesitate. I believe she won't take me somewhere I'm not supposed to be. You can't steal the things that God has given me. No more pain and no more shame and misery. You can't take me down. You can't break me down. You can't take me down. You can't break me down. You can't take me down. You can't break me down. I can see that face of trouble, and I'm on the verge. For the love of everybody, I need something more. And I will keep our days of trouble in the hospital. Behind the wall,
Yeah. Oh, I remember. Even I didn't have to remember. My body reacted in exactly the same way, man. The hairs on my arms just stood up. This is fucking brilliant. It's brilliant. I really dig listening to new records and just being blown away from them. Like, you know, from the first kind of note. And yeah, that's what this Michael Kiwanuka record did to me, who, like I said, he was on my radar. I didn't know who he was really, though. And I don't listen to singles. I don't listen to stuff before I drop the needle on it, so I know that you can check it out. I didn't want to do that. I like the idea of blind purchases. So this Michael Kiwanuka record was a completely blind purchase. And, well, you just saw why I do blind purchases. It's in the shop. The new record is coming out in October. The pre-order is going to be up there as well. You want to know what my dream is? As much as I'm doing all of this, because I do. I enjoy doing this. To be able to just reach a point where one of you guys say, you know what, this fucking guy was right, and order the record based on the song. To me, that's what it's about. Why? Because I remember, man. I remember the way it was with radio. For me, I keep thinking about somehow 2 Minutes to Midnight, Iron Maiden. Huge metalhead, right? But we had just this 1 hour a week on Fridays where we would listen to, there was a show on radio called The Metal Files, and they would play nothing but metal. So they would promote metal records on that platform, on Shom FM. And the one I remember most vividly is 2 Minutes to Midnight, before Power Slave ever came out. And then Aces High came out after. That single came out just before the record. But boy, oh boy, man, do I remember getting to the bus stop, running to the bus stop after school so that I can head off downtown and get my hands on the record on that Tuesday that it came out. I had to have it immediately. And that's the premise of this entire fucking radio show for me, man. I loved feeling that way. We buy these records because we connect to them. So, you know, if we're able to vibe on a record and you're listening to something and you get goosebumps, and yeah, man, this is what it is that I want to do forever. I'm gonna play you the last song on side C now. Only the second time I'm hearing it myself, but just to kind of give you an idea, I like the idea of discovering it at the same time. So this is a virtual record store, vinyljunkies.store, and if you were to walk in, well, this is what's happening right now. So. Last song on side C, Michael Kiwanuka, Love and Hate. Oh, by the way, this is produced by Danger Mouse. I should mention that as well. Danger Mouse produced this. It is awesome.
Help me to know where I can go. Take me out of myself again. Help me lose control. Show me love, show me happiness. I can't do this on my own. I don't understand the game, or who I'm meant to be. It's driving me insane, the way you're playing me. Help me to see who I can be. Help me to know where I can go. Take me out of myself again. Help me lose control. Show me love, show me happiness. I can't do this on my own. Take me out of myself again. Help me lose control. Show me love, show me happiness. I can't do this on my own. Show me love, show me happiness. I can't do this on my own.
Yeah, those strings, man. That production, Danger Mouse, unfucking believable. This guy, everything he touches is gold. So I'm a big fan, and I wanted to share that with you. Bought it yesterday. QC tested it at 93. I just found out why 2 points were gone immediately. They come housed in paper sleeves, so I had to put inners in it. Oh, by the way, we're gonna have inner and outer sleeves for you pretty soon in the shop. I'm in the middle of testing some. I got some good stuff for you. It's all gonna be good stuff. I'm gonna play you an example of how vinyl is supposed to be done. Really, there's no other way to say it, man. 9 Inch Nails does vinyl right. I always figured that would be the case, but just there's a couple of things recently that just made me. I remember, I don't know, I read something, on the website. There was one release, I don't remember which one it is, and 9 Inch Nails fanatics will probably be able to fill the blanks. But at one point, they put out a message saying the vinyl is not up to snuff, man. It's not where we want it to be. So we apologize. We're going to be doing this right. We're taking it seriously, and when they're ready, they're ready. And to me, that's the right answer. and I just bought. I'm looking at the back catalogs to see, to fill up my own Nine Inch Nails collection, because when I read that, it just immediately encouraged me, saying, okay, well, I know I don't have to go through the entire rigmarole. The records are good. As a matter of fact, the guy even said it himself when the record wasn't good. So for me, that automatically gains my trust. So when it comes to stocking the store, the reason I put Nine Inch Nails stuff in the store is because I know what you're going to get. I'm putting good records in the store. That's the point. And this is something that I've had on CD. So now I finally have it on vinyl. It arrives yesterday. This scored, I think, a 96, or if not a 96, close to the Broken EP. So it's a cheap direct to board. That's nothing, but it's got kind of like some stamping on it, which is really cool. I dig that a lot. But that's not really what I check. I mean, packaging, if you don't get an extra point for having really nice packaging, is what I'm saying. I have a lot of respect for bang for buck records that are pretty Spartan, let's say, in their packaging, because they want to keep costs down. There's a lot to be said for an under $20 record. So the first thing I noticed right away is that the records, and this is when you know you're dealing with somebody who gives a fuck about records, who knows, okay? So this is the sleeve. This is the inner sleeve, right? But the record never went in here. The record was housed in these lined anti-static sleeves. This is what it is that you're supposed to put a record in. If not the paper ones, there are even better ones. I'm going to put even better ones in the shop. I'll tell you about them, as soon as they're ready to go. Okay, but they still give you the inner printing. They still give you the whole thing, because, this is nice to have, but this is not meant to house a record. I know how it was done. It's not the way it's done like that anymore. Records cost a lot of money. We don't like our records all scuffed up because of paper. So they give you the lining. It's really nice, but the record never goes inside. It comes in a poly-lined, okay? And that's exactly what they did with the accompanying 45, which I had no clue about. 45, I tried to put this in, and this is actually smaller than this is. So you'd have to take it out of the paper sleeve and slide it in. And it got a 96, man. The packaging's really nice. So I haven't gotten there yet. Like I said, this arrived just yesterday, but why don't we get this rolling? This will probably be the last song. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. But it comes with this nice booklet, which I haven't even leafed through, so you guys are seeing it before me. And it's now available at the store. I think I like this way of just kind of like going off. This song slowly builds, so once Trent's ready to do his thing, I'll shut the fuck up and get out of here. But visit the shop, man. vinyljunkies.store. If you guys like this kind of programming, I'm going to keep doing it, man. I dig hanging out with you. And see you next Tuesday. What did you think, man? Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. I really want Trent to start going, because I'm ready to say goodbye here. And I feel like I'm saying the same things, regurgitating, and I'm fed up. I don't want to hear myself anymore. All right, I'm done.